Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So man, it is cold out here. Why is it so cold? Yesterday was 80 degrees. Anyway, so as you know, if you watch the videos and everything, you know that I had a yard sale yesterday. Um, trying to sell my vintage toys, and I had like all kinds of stuff. Not just vintage toys. I had vintage clothing, and mom was out there with me, and she had like everything of hers was like $1. I mean, she had like all kinds of you know neat stuff, and so made a little bit of money. Both of us did, but we didn't hardly sell anything, and so we're we packed everything up. It took me out of. That's why I look so tired right now, because I'm so tired, man. I mean, I was dead to the world. Um, and oh, hang on, I gotta let my cat out. What you doing, boy? Anyway, uh, so yeah, I was dead to the world. Say hey, everybody. Say hey. Look it. That's my buddy Bo. There's my Bobo. Anyway, so I still have tons of stuff. Um, as far as the vintage toys, I still have a marketplace thing up. Just to let everybody know. I have GI Joe figures, GI Joe stuff, toys, whatever. It's all from the '80s. Transformers, GoBots, Hot Wheels, Micro Machines, comic books, Legos, um, and oh, sorry, don't do that, boy. What's wrong with you? Bo messing with the camera. Um, and mom, I mean, mom was asking $1 for all her stuff, and she, like I said, she sold some stuff, and we still have a bunch left over. So I, if I still have it by this coming Saturday, then I think I will go to the flea market. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm playing it all by ear, and just to see. Yeah. By the way, so my brother and I are, in the works of trying to make a website. Kind of like, a place where you sell stuff like Amazon, eBay, whatever, you know. And because I mean, I have all this stuff, and it's like, I don't. I have used eBay in the past. I don't use it now, just because of all the fees and scams on there and all that, and it's just not worth it. I mean, I'm not going to sell something for $5 just so I can make 50 cents on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just using an example or whatever. But anyway, but a lot of people out there know what I'm talking about. In fact, when I go to the flea market or have a yard sale or whatever, I just randomly ask people like, "Hey, do you go on eBay or Amazon or anything like that to buy stuff?" And they're like, "No, dude, I don't use that stuff." Some people go even further and say that they don't trust it, and it's all kinds of you know. So they're just basically like, okay. So I usually have people try to pay me with Cash App. I don't take it. I do have it, but I don't use it. Um, uh, I might use it for emergency or something like that, but otherwise, I don't use it. Um, and I've tried Whatnot, and I tried it once, didn't like it. Just wasn't for me. Maybe other people, do really good on it. Not me. I don't. I don't. Um, I guess I'm. I don't know if it's my age, or what, but I just kind of. It's just not for me. So anyway, I started, brainstorming a couple days ago, and I was like, man, I've tried everything, right? I've tried selling my stuff here and there, and setting up yard sales, and breaking my back, doing all this stuff. Not literally breaking my back, but I'm saying just, me and mom, we wore ourselves out yesterday. I mean, it was, dude, I when I got done, 6 o'clock rolled around, or was it 8 o'clock? Anyway, we both were dead to the world. We crashed. It was out. It's like I said, I'm tired right now. I'm feeling like the after effects. It's like it's like the next day after doing a bunch of drinking. It's like, never again. Not until the next weekend. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not. You can ask my friends. I hardly drink. If you see me drinking, it's like, man, I ain't seen him drinking like ages. Um, but anyway, I'm trying not to go to sleep right now because I don't. I know it's a day of rest, so I'm trying to fight it. So, but anyway, getting back to the website, that was like my main focus I wanted to do on this video. So it would be like a site that you would go on to buy stuff. Very simple. It will hopefully be done by use your PayPal. Okay, PayPal is protected. I use PayPal all the time. I have no problem with it. Um, it's protected in itself. So for right now, I trust that and everything. So but anyway, very easy. You see something on there, you go, hey, I want to buy that. Boom, click, done. And then we do the hard work of shipping it out and all that. I know it takes a lot, not just to make a website, but to run a website. Um, and what I want to do is I want to build the website, build the business, and then hopefully turn around and sell it to a big company, and be done with it. And I'm pretty smart when it comes to certain things, not everything, but certain things. And um, I think that I think it will do very well. My brother, he's probably going to handle the more computer side of it and stuff like that. And he's the white collar, I'm blue collar. You know, so but I know what y'all are thinking. Like, hey, two people running a website, especially something like that, that's impossible. Well, it might be. I am not going to disagree. I mean, build the website, yes. Okay. And then, and by the way, I have 5 different domain, uh, domain, domain, I can't say it, domain names. That's a tongue twister for me. Anyway, I have 5 different ones in mind. And, I've done my research on them, and apparently they don't exist. They're not even for sale or anything. So, at least not right now. They're not. Anyway, uh, but I started thinking about all this, and and I'm like, people are telling me left and right, oh man, just put your stuff on eBay and sell it. No, because I'm not going to pay all their fees and all that. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. So, um, I think most time they charge like 15%, something like that. I think it depends on what it is, but they charge listing fees and ending fees and just all this fees and stuff. It got nuts over years. And so what I'm going to do is my website is going to be my stuff to start out. I have enough stuff to fill up a store. I'm not lying. Like a little mini store. Um, like if I had a store as big as like a little like a little thrift shop or something like that. Um, yeah, that would be the amount of stuff that I have. Um, and so, uh, but yeah, as you can tell, it takes a lot of thinking. Being as tired as I am right now, I'm just kind of I'm exhausted. Um, uh, but I would put everything to begin with would be my stuff, our stuff, and then once if everything starts dying down, in other words, we've sold most of our inventory and everything, like more than 3/4 of our inventory, then we will allow people to come in and post their own stuff. Kind of like marketplace, something like that. But they post their own stuff as long as it's something legit and everything. Obviously, we don't want no we want to keep it G rated. We don't want no crazy stuff on there. Um, but and when they do that, we want to. So it would be there'll be it's a pay site. So we will probably do charge like a certain percentage, but nothing even close to all those other guys. Nothing. Um, like I'm thinking like 5%, if that, whatever. Uh, yeah. I don't understand why these other companies why they charge so much. It makes no sense to me. It's a bunch of greed, I think. I know you have overhead stuff like that. Um, maybe that's why, because their overhead is so big. Could be. Um, but otherwise, there is a lot of corporate greed out there. Um, I know a lot of people can agree with me on that. And but anyway, I hope to be within the next 5 years, have this business really grown, and and hopefully have a turnaround and sell it by then, and and just finally just wash my hands of all that and be done with it. That's my goal. It's all about setting goals. Because right now, I mean, I'm at the age where I'm kind of like, okay, I need to set some better goals and stuff like that. Um, because the next 5 years is going to be probably pretty rough for me and my family. Um, I'm not going into details or anything, but uh, you know, it's life. It's basically what it is. And so, but hope not. I mean, hopefully that everything's perfectly smooth. You got AI. Now AI is just huge now. I've told people when AI just first came out, publicly or whatever, I told people, I was like, look, if you're going to invest in anything, invest in AI. The only bad part about that, or let's just say one bad part about that, is that you're helping AI grow. And let's hope that it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. It's catch 22. It's basically what it is. So if you're helping AI grow, hopefully you're not feeding the monster, right? So AI has been pretty good as far as being a helper. Just in the past, not even a year, it's helped me a lot do certain things. It's pretty amazing, and I would say by each month, it gets faster and faster and faster. It is very scary. I hope the bubble doesn't pop, at least not while I'm alive. So, um, speaking of which, um, so I know y'all probably watched the news and see where all these scientists and stuff have been uh, either missing or coming up dead or something, or something like that. Yeah, very tragic. Whatever. I think the last one I saw, a guy OD'd supposedly. Is a whistleblower. Anyway, now me, I am not affiliated with politics or the military or anything like that. Um, but just to cover my butt, if anything ever happens to me, just letting you know, it wasn't me. Okay, so I'm just putting it out there, just to cover my butt. That's it. Um, I'm a Christian, and I believe in the word of the Lord, and He is my Savior, and always has been. He watches over me. I'm pretty sure I have a guardian angel, if not more than one. It's just one of them things you kind of, yeah. Well, for me, I have a little bit of ESP going on, especially here lately. I'm kind of like, okay, there's something going on, you know. I'm very strong in my beliefs. For those who know me, know that. I always have been. The older I get, the more mature I get, the more I feel the presence, and and I mean, I'm not preaching. I'm trying not to preach. I try not to preach. I don't like to preach. Don't get me wrong. If y'all like preachers, that's fine. I am not a preacher. I'm far from it. I mean, I'm just but every once in a while, I'll let something slip. I'll be like, today's Sunday. Let's talk about God. Yeah, people misinterpret a lot of things. You know, and me personally, I have no problem talking about any of that stuff. It doesn't bother me. Um, and in fact, I mean, it makes me feel good. So, if it makes you feel good, whatever. Um, but yes, today is Sunday, so you know, um, it's a gloomy looking day. It's totally cloudy. By the way, the meteor shower that we had 2 nights ago. So I walked out. It was cloudy. I don't know why. I don't know if it's me or if y'all like this too, but every time they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a meteor shower," and there's been like tons of them, right? It's always cloudy. Never fails. But I walked out, and right up here there was like a break in the clouds, and I could see stars. It wasn't very big, but I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, "Okay, you got that one break right there." And I'm looking, and all of a sudden, There goes a meteor. All I saw, just that one. And before, and I'm not lying when I say this, before that happened, I said, man, it'd be nice if I just see just one. And then, like, literally 5 seconds later, I was like, okay, I'm going back to bed now. We live in a matrix, in the matrix. Yeah. But I'm not lying. I said that out loud. I was like, man, I wish I could just see just one. And all of a sudden it was like, and I was like, okay, let's go back to bed. Yeah. So yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. And it was, man, that thing was bright. Man, it was really cool. There's supposed to be another meteor shower coming up in May. The first, like May 3rd or something, or I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Look it up. Um, I will say this though, when I did see it, just that one, it was cool and it was kind of creepy at the same time, and I was kind of like, I was like, okay, that's cool, but at the same time, I was like, can you imagine seeing like 100 of them, or like missiles? Like, I'm sorry, I've had dreams before about stuff like that. If I actually saw it in real life, I think I'd run, jump underneath my covers. So yeah, um, but that was really cool. But yeah, I hope to see the next one. But you mark my words though. The next one that shows up is gonna be cloudy. You watch. It never fails. Every single time. It's like clockwork. I'm not lying. I sat there and looked out my window, and I'm like, why is it always cloudy? We live in a simulation, folks. We live in the matrix. Yeah. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, so I'm not into politics, but I seen on the news where there was a shooting, um, in DC, with the president, stuff like that. Luckily, he wasn't in harm's way or anything. They got him out of there or whatever. Um, um, I think there was a security guard or an agent or something like that. I think he got hurt, but I think he's okay. So I don't condone, uh, any of that stuff. Uh, I'm not saying, like I said before, I'm not into politics. So I'm like, somewhere in the middle. Even I just want to cover this. Even if it were, uh, somebody, how can I say this? No matter who it is that is up there and in charge or whatever, no matter what, who is at the White House or whatever, who's in charge, it's never good to see, somebody get hurt, get shot at, whatever. You know, a life is a life, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some evil people out there who probably deserve to be, um, to have justice swiftly dealt upon them. But I don't I don't condone anything. I mean, it's like you got justice, and then you got everything else, right? So I just want to make that clear, as clear as possible. But I know, people are like, oh, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat, you know, and they're always at war. And me, I'm basically I'm stuck in the middle, sitting there just It's like I'm in the stands watching a football game. You got the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other, and they're battling it out. We're going to war and all this. You got liberals out there that are, sitting there, crying about everything and doing all this. And this is why I stay out of all of it, right? This is why I am a medium. This is why I stay in the mid grade, in the middle, and try not to say, anything remotely close to, this side or blah 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 blah. Sometimes I like to pretend that I'm not of this earth, and I like to say that I like to just sit back and watch like it's a television show. In fact, I bet there are aliens out there that watch us like a television show. Today on Earth, the Republicans are going up against the Democrats, and there's war going on. Tune in next time. It'll be the same old crap. But it is, though. It's a broken record. It is. I bet there's aliens watching this sometimes sitting there saying like, you know, I, I bet there's like two, I bet there's two stoner aliens sitting on a couch, best friends, watching this TV show of us, of Earth, and the one sitting there going, dude, is there anything else on? Like, dude, let's watch something we ain't watched in a long time, okay? Let's see what's going on in Ethiopia. Are they still a third world country? It's funny how you got people out there who live to be into politics 24/7. It's all they've ever known and grown up with and everything, and there's nothing else in their life, right? There are tons of more stuff out there, people, right? Um, in my life, it's what I call chapters, right? So the past couple months have been a huge chapter in my life because I've been trying to sell, with the good weather coming around, going to flea markets, having yard sales, trying to sell stuff, make money and stuff like that. And it's not going to last forever. So at least I hope it don't. But I'm looking forward to the next chapter, which is, while I'm trying, want to build this website and have that's my next chapter, and that will be a huge, huge chapter in my life. Um, I hope it, to grow my kingdom, basically, here on earth. I don't mean that in a biblical way or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, grow my business. That's basically all. It's something simple, and that's another thing too. Like, people overthink. There's too many overthinkers. I do it sometimes, not all the time. Um, when I really get into something, I really pay attention to detail. Otherwise, I don't. Right? So, when people, I've noticed over the years when people, okay, say for instance, okay, so I'm a blue collar, right? So you work, mechanic, work on cars, stuff like that. So when people, you have a lot of these people that own shops, these side shops, right? And they run them into the ground. I've noticed this. This is um, the stuff that I've seen, um, and They do. They have like all this money, and they build up this shop or whatever, and then they run it into the ground. Okay, can't really go into detail. It's just they just don't know how to run a business, you know. And this happens not just that type of business. I mean, there's other stuff out there, other places out there that run these businesses into the ground, you know. And I'm sitting there going, they're overthinking it. They have all this money, and that's all they got. All brains and no sense. Yeah, makes Peter a dull boy, you know. Uh, and you know, I know there's people out there that they borrow from a bank or something to open a business and everything, and that that's how it's done. Yeah, usually, if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right? You do that, you open your business, and you try to do it as best you can. But it's just they don't know how to run, and I've seen this multiple times with mechanic shops, stuff like that. There's probably other companies out there. A lot of it's got to do with the management. I saw where this side shop, their management was terrible, and he ran into the ground. A new owner came in, bought the place, boom, place is booming. So management can be blamed for a lot of failures. Okay, um, but if I would say if you're wanting to start a business, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. It's a whatever you're selling doesn't matter. It's all about management, right? And you got to be able to manage everything. You know, you got to put your best foot forward, right? Um, try to see your future, right? Think before you leap. In other words, just try to see, like, okay, I wonder what would happen. There's nothing wrong with brainstorming, right? I wonder what would happen if I did this, and run the scenarios through your brain. That's usually what I do. I'll say, okay, I know it could either go this way or this way, and it might go this way. So, yeah. Okay, for example, okay, um, believe it or not, I know it sounds kind of, you know, petty, whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. I've always wanted to run a concession stand. It's been one of my life dreams. I'm not lying. I know it's not shooting for the stars or anything, but I've always wanted to run my own concession stand. Just something small, cheap, easy to run, something that brings in a little bit of money here and there. It's not about trying to get rich. It's about trying to be happy with what you're doing and everything. Now, I will tell you a secret about me is that I don't like being around food, like running a business, food or whatever, food wise. So I know that kind of sounds kind of conflicting there. You're kind of like, wait a minute, you want to run a concession stand, but you don't like food. You don't want to be around all that food and everything. It don't make sense. Well, let me be more senseful. I can't lost some words today. So working at the flea markets one day a week, Saturday, right? I found that there is on one end of the place, there's nobody selling anything to eat, drink, anything. If you want something, you got to walk 1,000, 2,000 paces that way, and you got to buy off a food truck. And we know it's not a secret. We know how much food trucks cost. Okay, not gonna go into detail, but y'all know if you've ever made off a food truck before, I'm not talking about the food, I'm talking about the price and all that. So anyway, I found that I can get stuff really cheap from like Sam's Club. Sam's Club is really great. Um, buy all this stuff and set up one of my little pop-up 10 by 10 canopies, and I can without going through a lot of legality and everything, as long as I got permission from the place to set up, I can sell cold drinks, soda, water, bottled water, stuff like that. And I can sell, bags of chips, nabs, stuff like that. Don't have to worry about, the laws have changed, by the way. But don't have to worry about um, going through, health department and agriculture and all that. Now, there is a difference between the two. If you are selling meat, like you're out there cooking hot dogs and hamburgers, you got to go through the health department. Okay. You got to get a business permit, which I believe is free. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. But you just got to, apply for that and everything. And you got to have a vendor's permit, which I think is $50 a year. Right? You got to have everything set up real clean. They're all about clean, right? Cleanliness. Now, the only thing that's keeping me from doing that is that you have to have a commissary for meat. Okay? You can't do it out of your home. You gotta have a business. Okay? You gotta find like a restaurant or something like that will say, hey, yeah, well, you can rent out a space to keep your stuff here. Now the only problem is the rent. That eats into my profit. I mean, how much can you sell a hot dog for, right? I think the true sale of a hot dog should be around $3 or $4. That is, if you're getting like, hey, I want chili, I want it all the way, chili, slaw, mustard. If you're doing all that, then that's, I can see paying $3, $4. I remember when I was a kid, I used to pay $1 a hot dog, and I'd get it plain, right? But anyway, that commissary, renting that place out, doing all that. First, you got to find the commissary. Then you got to pay the rent. So you got those two things right there. That's what stopped me from selling hot dogs and hamburgers. And but I'd like to do it. I would. I don't know why, but it would be my business. I would not go work for a fast food restaurant or anything. I don't want to work for anybody. It's my business. I'll bring in somebody to help me. I have friends that want to, that would come in and help me, do it and everything and build the business up. Sorry, I'm petting my cat. He's being a nuisance. He's being a bobo. You want to go inside? Huh? Yeah? Go in? Go see mommy? Sorry about that. Anyway. That's my boy. So health department. Okay. Then you got agricultural. Okay. And this is the research that I've done. This is what everything that I had to go through to find out what I can and cannot do. Okay. So as long as you're not selling meat, and believe me, there's so much to learn here. It is. If you want to get into this, there's so much. It's nuts. But once you know everything, you're good to go from there. Anyway, so agricultural. If you're not selling meat, like hot dogs, hamburgers, anything like that, okay, but you're still selling food, okay. I'm not talking about packets of potato chips or nabs or anything like that. I'm talking about like if you want to sell popcorn, or if you want to sell cotton candy or something like that. Anyway, that's agricultural, right? And this is what I've understand. I've made phone calls. I actually talked to a really cool, some really cool people on both ends, health department and agricultural. Man, they were really cool to me and everything, which I couldn't believe. I thought they were going to kick me to the curb, but no, they were really nice. Especially the guy at agricultural, man. He was just like, you can do this and this and this, and So also, I wanted to make a one of those. I want to take a pop up camper, remove the canvas, and make that as my food trailer, right? When it comes to now, you can fact check me on this and see if anything has changed, but as far as I know, it hasn't. The law's changed a little bit, but as far as I know, this law pertains. So if you want to do that idea, when it comes to selling hot dogs and hamburgers, you cannot do that. When it comes to selling meat, you cannot do that idea. As far as agricultural, the guy told me over the phone, he's like, yeah, you can use a pop-up camper. That's fine. He's like, yeah, but health department, that's a totally different ballgame. When it comes to meat is, a lot of people can get sick off of meat, you know, because there's just so much bacteria and all that. Anyway, but you can agricultural, you can use the pop-up camper modified into a food truck. And also I can now the way I tried it a couple times. I messed up though, and I'll explain. So I put up my 10 by 10 canopy. I had permission from the place, no problem. They charged me $10, just like anybody else goes out there and sets up and everything. If you got a food truck though, and you go to the flea market to set up, they charge you 25. Okay, still not bad though. Whatever. Okay, so I got my canopy all up and everything. I got my drinks in my cooler right there. I got my chips, big old thing of chips. They're like a 50 bag of chips, all these mixed chips and everything. Just small bags. I charge $1 for everything. $1 a drink, $1 bottle of water, $1 a bag of chips. I even had $1 honey buns, stuff like that. You can have blow pops and for the kids like 50 cents a piece or whatever. Stuff like I had muffins, already prepackaged blueberry muffins, chocolate chip muffins, stuff like that. So I just wanted to try that. But here's where I messed up. I had my stuff out there for sale with it, so it was not just a concession stand, right? So when people come up, they see my stuff for sale, and I'll be like, "Hey, I got some chips and drinks back here. If y'all like, I got them $1 a piece." I couldn't sell one, not one freaking drink. I mean, when it was hot as crap out there, the people still wouldn't buy anything. So I believe that's why they wouldn't buy, because I had my stuff out for sale. So I would say this word to the wise: if you're going to run a concession stand like that under a canopy, make it just a concession stand. Okay, hang some good signs up that says, cold drinks, $1, stuff like that. And then go for it. Don't sell any of your goods. As far as like your yard sale stuff, don't sell any of that. Don't put that with it. Okay. I was going to have somebody go out there with me so I could set up 2 canopies, one for a concession stand, one to sell the stuff. But I can't find anybody to go out there with me and do that. And I don't even know if I got enough room in my car to put 2 canopies in there. Yeah, man, it's cold out here. Like summertime now, come on. It's not summertime yet. I think May 21st is summertime. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's just give you a little rundown of that, my research of what I've done on doing that you know, type of stuff and everything. So anyway, but anyway, uh, but now my next goal is to do the website, get that rolling. I should have done it 10 years ago. That would have been the thing, and been done with it. But we'll see. Hopefully, I'm the next billionaire or whatever. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate everybody coming in as usual and checking out the show and everything. Make sure you like and subscribe, and you know, check out my other videos. I've got all kinds of stuff. You never know what you're going to see on this channel. That's why I wanted to be a variety channel. Okay, thanks for watching. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Have a blessed one. Later.